Since the dawn of time, mankind has been guided by its primal instincts. The instincts to reproduce, the instincts to eat, the instincts to fight. But perhaps the most important one of all, the instinct to use comically large weapons that will turn any poor soul into a fine shade of red mist. What if I told you there was a game that could satisfy all the human urges? Team Fortress 2 is one of the most explosive and high-octane shooters on the market, sure to fill you with enough adrenaline pumping through your veins to keep you on a high that lasts longer than crack. If we're comparing it to crack, while we're at it, TF2 will consume your life and lead you down a lifetime of addiction, leaving you wondering where the years went. But unlike crack, it's completely legal and I'm allowed to sell it to you. So what are you waiting for? It's completely free to play. Go grab a gun, maggot, and shoot the nearest thing that moves, like the forefathers intended. What's that? Still here? Not convinced with promises of explosion and manslaughter and need more of a reason to play, so you stuck around?
Yes.
Well, you are a failure of a human being who puts your parents to shame, but I'm more than happy to go on. And what better way to begin than TF2's strongest selling point? When it comes to class-based shooters, the most important aspect of the game will always be the characters, the people you play as. And oh boy, does TF2 deliver. The game has 9 mercs to choose from, and while all viable and balanced around each other, they'll all cover different styles of play. The class you use will dictate what you do and how much fun you'll have. So finding the character for you is important. You! Yes, you! You like killing things, right? Of course you do, I could tell just by looking at you. Here is a rocket launcher. Now go kill God. Godspeed, Patriot. The soldier has some of the highest damage in the game, able to diagnose almost every merc on the receiving end with an early case of onset death with a single direct hit. Or at least several missing limbs if it doesn't. The weakness to this is his rockets move as slow as an old lady trying to cross the street. This, however, doesn't matter, because he's using a rocket launcher. Rocket launchers are cool. If he's ever out of ammo when he's in a tight spot, he always has a shotgun to get the job done. Because in life, the solution to all problems is to use more gun. The Demo Man is the best friend of the soldier, another fan of high ordnance explosives, opting for a much more methodical use in a playstyle I have dubbed Asshole, laying thousands of traps around the battlefield to make sure no matter where you are, you're never truly as safe as you think you are. This is a Demo's world, we're all just living in it. Or he'll misplace a bomb and blow himself up, that works too. To balance out the damage of these crackheads, they are on the slower end of the cast. Why is slower in quotation marks? But Lami, I hear you ask, what if I want to move fast without losing function of half the bones in my body? Well, that's where speed is the name of the game. With the mobility of a toddler on crack, you're a very annoying little shit to hit. And with a shotgun, any confrontation with a scout ends almost instantly for either party, because while Scout is mobile, he's very fragile, making This is the Heavy. It costs 5 sandwiches to keep this man alive in a fight for 12 seconds. To make up for the fact that you're a practically moving target asking to be hit, the Heavy is armed with a minigun, able to also turn anyone within your line of sight into a spatter in the concrete in a matter of seconds. All you need to do is hold left click and point and your target disappears. Speaking of line of sight, alright, maybe this time. Maybe now's a good time to step out. My favorite thing when playing the hit video game Team Fortress 2 is playing a bunch of characters all designed around close quarters combat, with shotguns, rocket launchers, miniguns, all weapons that are better the closer you are to your targets, and in the middle of a fight with another respectable individual. Be killed from a dickhead from across the state that just showed up, pointed at my head and tapped left click. Sniper mates, I need you to yourself. The funniest part is he's listed as a support character because of his defensive value, when TF2 has a defense category. What supporting is he doing by being an asshole? Speaking of supports, TF2's only healer. Medic is the one and only healer of TF2, and that comes with a lot of stereotypes. Healers in games are usually seen as passive, healing their teammates to let them do all the work. TF2 is like that, right? You have learned absolutely nothing. What TF2 players often forget is that Medic can kill. Don't forget it, or this will be you. And if he's feeling like it, set his team on you. You see, TF2 is actually a harem anime, with all the mercs craving its big, juicy, ubercharge. Immortality for a few seconds once he's charged, what's not to love? Yes, I'm main medic.
And another thing, you're ugly.
The engineer is the other actual support of TF2, in my opinion, using his
Build in a sentry
to aid his team with a healthy cache of weapons to defend them. A dispenser keeps him and his team healthy. A sentry keeps him and his buildings alive. Having an auto-aiming death fucker hidden behind the corner is a good surprise, no? But the real best thing is the teleporter, able to get him and his team from spawn back into a fight instantaneously. While the demo and soldier are able to beat him from the front, they aren't always a be-all end-all solution to the sheer power of the NG and his besties. We're gonna need a... In my hometown, we have an old saying. It goes like this.
Anything Spy can do, Sniper does better. Sniper does everything better than Spy.
Spy is one of the hardest characters to play in TF2, and he's also the weakest. But he more than makes up for it if you've got the skill to back it up. He can turn invisible, disguise himself as an ally. He has a sapper that disables buildings, and has a knife that can one-shot any enemy with their backturn. That teammate you let past may not be who they say they are. If only you didn't believe them for a moment. But it's a double-edged sword though, because if you catch a spy who fumbles the act, well, you can kiss them goodbye.
I never really was on your side.
The pyro is the natural predator of the spy, so much so that he has a dedicated knife to help you with the matchup, because you scream to Daddy Gaben. And for good reason. The pyro is an up-close monster, burning away everything that forgot to get a restraining order. At a distance, the pyro is still a devastating threat. He can make use of air blasts to deflect the far-range shots of enemy soldiers and demomans, sending a shit ton of damage back, keeping his team alive and well. With that, you know all you need to. While it can be a bit chaotic at first, TF2, I'll be honest, even with all the time I have in it, it's still a chaotic mess. But you'll learn to love it. It's the reason after all these years, the game is still active with tons of players, both new and old. So don't worry about it and just go hop in. What's that? Oh, you saw the runtime? Don't worry about it. Before we start this section, I'm gonna need you to give $5 to Gabe. Don't ask questions, just do it. With that, you now have a premium account and have access to trading, typing in chat, and basic human rights.
Go fuck yourself!
While the free version of TF2 had access to random drops every so often, giving you guns at random, we collect a bunch of useless dupes no one needed. So you may as well trade them for the good stuff behind the counter, yeah? That's where we go into the lovely world of
Third-party site!
Warning, Lami-Lei does not publicly endorse any third-party website, nor is sponsored by one. On one of these, you can trade any spare weapons you don't need for new, much better ones. But what even are loadouts? This is getting complicated, I hear you ask. Well, loadouts are the builds of TF2. While the default weapons you get for each merc are the standard way they're designed to play, loadouts allow for build variety and expression. Something that makes me a very happy creature indeed. Really like the trap playstyle Demoman has and want to lean more into it? The Scottish Resistance will double the amount of traps you can set and allow you to choose which ones you blow up by looking at them, but they'll take longer to arm. Want to turn the soldier into a high-risk, high-reward god, making your rockets go faster and increasing his already massive damage even further, but nerfing the explosion radius so you need to make sure your shot hits? The direct hit. Want to soak your enemies in milk? What? Why? What the fuck is wrong with you? Yes, you can! An important thing to note is no weapon is a direct upgrade, all having weaknesses to balance them out. All the stock weapons you get from the free-to-play game are more than viable, and most TF2 players still use them. Loadouts are nothing more than a new way to play all the classes in unique ways, but when you think you've seen it all. Okay, we've got everything out of the way now. Let's just hop into a game and play. I like to view games in their entirety, acknowledging both their ups and downs, and TF2 is no different. As much as I love it for what it is, unfortunately, it's a game from 2007, and is riddled with problems here and there that very much poke their face through with age. I've already mentioned that Sniper shouldn't exist in the state that he is, but he's far from the only issue I have with the game. I was once told by a friend that Dust Bowl was the League of Legends of TF2, and I have never in my life been horrified by something so true. It sucks and it's not fun, and yet people come back to it all the same. TF2 has a ton of stuff like this. A lot of the maps are small things here and there that just kinda suck. Some maps' capture points are not well designed enough, leaving the most unfair advantage by the attacker or the defender. I have never once seen the attack team capture the final point of Mercenary Park, before the team swaps and the defending team are suddenly thrust into the front trenches of war. 5 capture point as a game mode sucks, with it taking far too long for the Thumb of War BS to end, which is a problem in and of itself, but when one team finally wins after a 40-minute match, it ends up being the first point in a best of 3. This is amplified by the fact that 5 capture points is a staple of 6s, an important mode for the competitive scene. Then there's some personal stuff like the music. Now before you say anything, the TF2 OST is amazing. Valve never fumbles this, and it shows. I've been using it a ton throughout the video, so where is it used? The menu. That is it. This is what TF2 sounds like in-game. I know this is completely subjective, but that's the thing. You have the most kick-ass soundtrack and it's barely used. It irritates me personally.
Oh, merde.
That's enough negativity for now. Let's talk about something cool. The TF2 community is one of the best parts of the game. TF2 has a certain mentality that by all means shouldn't create the player base it does. Teamwork? Working together? Not so much. You're a guy with a gun, maybe some explosives and a shovel. Everyone, including your enemies, will be armed the same. Now go do some war crimes, weirdos. Sure, you get the lobby stomper who has over 5,000 hours in the game, who may show up occasionally to take names and chew gum and slash your ass, or one of the
Ku Klux Klan!
But most of the player base is really chill. It's hard to find your death annoying when the person you die to is Pingus Dickhead 9000. The community for TF2 is an important part of the game itself. Obviously without it, there is no game, but it's grown in such a way that it's moved beyond the game in ways you've probably seen for yourself. To the point where some TF2 fans don't even play the game themselves to enjoy the series. I started with the Mercenaries of TF2, and for good reason. They all have a lot of charm and personality to them, and clearly the community thinks so too, making things of their own. Memes, custom taunts, SFMs to name a few, and by God are there SFMs, by God that TF2 community can animate. It can all be a little overwhelming, can't it? The noises, the people. Sometimes you just need a break to chill. Luckily, Valve thought the same thing, because they released the Mann Vs Machine update in 2012. Mann Vs Machine is a wave-based PvE mode that asks the age-old question. If you locked 6 lunatics and a giant robot army in a map together, who would win? But why did they add this, you may wonder? Well, to answer that, we're gonna have to dig into the TF2 lore. The TF2 lore is wild, all available completely free to read as comics on the official website, so I'd highly recommend you do it yourself. It's a good read. But if you don't, I shall take it upon myself to surmise the details. Our story starts with the British. In particular, one Zephaniah Mann. He is completely unimportant, so his biggest impact on the story is dying. Mr. Mann hated his sons, because they were always fighting each other. Not because that was morally wrong, but because they never just settled the matter with one killing the other. In his will, he decided to make matters worse, leaving all his wealth in the Mann Co. Company to an Australian named Barnabas Hale, who left it to the man we all know and love, Saxton Hale. I'm gay. First question you may have, why does he look like this, and why does he have the power to wrestle bears and yetis and all manner of beasts with his bare hands? Well, it's because he's Australian. This is what all Australians look like in TF2 thanks to the power of Australia. Naturally. As one does. Anyway, back to the story. In his will, he decided to only give the two brothers the land they lived on to share, which would spark war for literal centuries using Australium obviously, hiring us mercs in this useless tug of war for what seemed like an eternity. Then this old hag Grey Man showed up, who was the secret third son of the family, killed them both and sent a bunch of robot mercs to kill the human mercs and take their jobs. A story that was wrote a decade ago and has not aged a day. Also, there's a wizard who owes money to the Korean and Russian mafia, who's roommates with Soldier, who then replaced said wizard with a bunch of raccoons. The wizard then moved on with a new roommate, famed singer Tom Jones. The Soldier then snapped Tom Jones' neck. TF2 lore is peak. Well, that should catch you up to speed, and thus, Mann Vs Machine was born. The game mode has insane depth for a side mode, despite the idea being simple. You kill robots, you gain cash. The cash you get can be used to get perks, to get stronger, with some actual cool additions that change the way the game feels, such as Medic being able to create a shield and Sniper having explosive headshots. All this, plus the robots themselves, all having a ton of variety to them, that keeps the game feeling fresh and a worthwhile time to have if you can pull along some friends. Unless you are absolute dog shit, you piece of shit. So that's Team Fortress 2 and why I love it. Despite its age and the small criticisms I have of it, it still holds up well. It's a chaotic mess of a game with a dedicated fanbase, and for good reason. No matter how many sessions you put in it, you've never truly seen it all, and it makes a point of ensuring you know it. Thank you for making it to the end. If you like this, please subscribe. It really means a lot and helps show support. I probably won't make any more videos on TF2 if that's what you're wondering and here for, but I do intend on making more like this. Who knows? Maybe you'll be introduced to a new game you'll love. Also, I'm gonna upload more, I swear. I had some personal life stuff, so there won't be a half a year gap this time. I promise.